What's up, everybody? I'm Rick.
And I'm Anna.
And welcome to our review of the 2020 movie Minari.
Come have fun with us and don't forget to subscribe.
Minari is a Plan B entertainment film that was released on February 12, 2021. This semi-autobiographical movie follows a family of South Korean immigrants who try to make it in rural America during the 1980s. So, Anna, we have watched Minari. Can you tell me, what did you think of the movie? Did you like it?
I did like it, yes. I have a very interesting relationship with the type of movies that at the end always leave me with the question, wait, that was it?
So when you say that was it, in what way do you mean? Like, did you feel like the story wasn't complete? Did you want more?
No, this is a slice of life type of movie. Mm-hmm. And so at the end, it leaves me with the feeling that, wait, but I want to know what happens next, Mm-hmm. Like, not in the sense that it's incomplete. I get why the ending would be there, but I also very much get the feeling that more things will happen.
Yeah.
I feel like I want to know,
And you're interested in seeing what happens next. Yeah. I can get behind that, but also understand that being a slice of life, it is that, a slice of life, right? And so the movie could go on forever. It's their life.
Yeah.
But
that's what I'm saying. Like, at the end of it, I never expect, like, you never know when it would end.
When it's gonna end.
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
The scene was over, and then it seemed to me like there was gonna be a transition, but then the credits roll, and I'm like, oh, that was the end. Like, I wanted to see more. Like, it's a good feeling. It's a nice feeling, Like, you get to invested in the story and the characters.
I really liked this movie. This is a movie that I feel is interesting just in the type of movie it is, right? It's an American movie, but in Korean, right? Mostly in Korean. And it kind of gives you this feeling of a lot of... usually we often watch the foreign film that are nominated to. We don't do reviews of them, but we just watch them because they're interesting. And it kind of gives you that feeling too, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of time, these are also slice of life, right? Just the life of someone in another country. But here it's someone from another country and the US and what that means for them. And I also really liked the subject matter, right? Being kid of immigrants myself. You're an immigrant yourself, right?
Yes.
So it's understandable. You can relate pretty easily to their ordeal. And especially I relate a lot with the dad, who was not the best character the whole time in terms of being nice to the people around him. But still, I could get behind someone who has a dream, right? And who's trying his best to realize it.
I really liked the feeling that he had, that it was more, well, not necessarily more important, but it seemed like to him it mattered a lot that his children see him succeed.
Yeah.
In his life. That he wanted to set that as an example of what it means to be an immigrant, in the US.
Like, I came here and I made something of myself, right? I'm not just looking at chicken butt the rest of my life.
Right. And I can totally relate to that because, as you were saying, I'm an immigrant myself. When you immigrate, you don't immigrate with the idea that you will, lay low and you hope to accomplish something, in your new life.
Yeah.
Like, most of the times people have that feeling. And so he had that feeling too,
Mm-hmm. I said I'm a child of immigrant. I'm actually an immigrant myself. I came here so young. I don't even remember where I came from. Who am I? We're talking about the characters here, the dad, the immigration, the biographical nature of it all. Let's look a little bit more into the details of who's in this movie, who made it, how they made it, what was the reception, right? And then we can continue our conversation around that. So, and I'm about to pronounce a bunch of Korean names. I am sorry if I butcher half of them, but let's get into this. The movie was directed by Lee Isaac-chung, and he got, for this movie, actually a Best Director nomination for this year's Academy Award. Yeah. I also like that. I think that's a good choice. Chung wrote down some of his personal memories, and he used that as a basis for the story, right? So it's not necessarily his life story, but it's heavily inspired by his life story. The movie stars Steven Yeun from Walking Dead fame as Jacob Yi. He got a Best Actor nomination for this role. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do agree with the nomination, for sure. We've watched another movie, the previous movie that we have watched, where the main actor also
Gary Oldman and
got
Mank.
the nomination. Yeah, they got good actors on that list so far.
Yeah. So this is the dad, right? I really liked his character, and I really liked the way he played it, right? He really showed that feeling of someone who will do anything, kind of, right, to realize his dream. And he feels like it's the best thing to do, like you said, for his kids, for his family, but also really for himself, right? And sometimes at the expense of his family, right? He uses the water that they need to drink in order to water the plants, right?
Right. What I really liked about the portrayal of this character is how well that repressed fear of failure and desperation of what if I don't make it, showed on the screen. Like, I thought that was really good, especially because he didn't show it like angrily. He didn't speak about it. Except for just saying that, I have a dream, I want to make something, but he never, but you could understand, you could feel that fear of, but because if I don't make it, then I fail,
And I think we're going to come here for a lot of these actors and characters. This is a movie of not so many words, right? There's a lot of calm moment or silence moment, but the facial expression often tells the whole story, right? Whenever you see him, right, or you see his wife looking at him or looking at what the kids are doing, like there's a story just happening there without them having to say anything.
I don't know how much this is, this method of telling the story, like you said, through just facial expressions and silent interactions. Like, I don't know how much this method is being used in American movies, maybe not in the type of movies that I've seen so far, but I've seen it a lot in many foreign movies.
Yeah. That's what I was saying at the beginning, that this felt like it.
Yeah.
Right? I just talked about the wife. She is Monica Yi, played by Han Yeri. What do you think of her performance or character?
So this, I think, not only is it a movie with few words, but also a movie with few characters. I think it's very interesting how we rarely see them apart. The family as a whole, right? We mainly see them together. I feel like maybe she was a little bit outshined by
her husband.
But I think that maybe that was the intention. There are very few moments in which she kind of like takes the scene, and when that happens, she's usually upset or disagreeing with whatever her husband is doing or saying. So I feel like that was intentional, though, for the purpose of the story, right? Because she's the wife who follows her husband, and when she realizes that that wasn't her dream, it was his dream but not hers, she starts to retaliate sometimes.
Yeah. I thought she was an interesting character-wise, right? Because like you said, she's often either with the husband or with the kids, right? Rarely alone. But we do get a few elements of her personality apart from the fact that she's against what her husband is doing. But the religious element is a big element of the story, and a big element that comes from her, right? The husband has shown through the movie that he's not really religious. The grandmother neither. The kids, they don't really care. They're kids, right? So it comes from her, and she uses it not always in the best way, right? Maybe with the best intention, but she kind of traumatized her son through it. And so I thought that was an interesting element, right? The religion is present a lot in the movie, and it mainly comes from her. We just talked about her son, David Yi. He's played by Alan Kim, arguably the main character of this story.
I think so. I loved his character. That kid is so expressive. Like, I was surprised, I have to say. What I like the most about his character is that I feel like with him, more than with any other character, we get the story as it's developing. So from the beginning of the story, his parents keep telling him, don't run, don't run. And I remember at like the second or third time asking like, well, let the kid play.
Let the kid run,
What's
yeah.
wrong? And then only later do we realize, and not even directly, but they only imply, in their dialogue, that he's actually sick.
That he has a health problem.
Exactly.
And then they never say what it is exactly until they go to the doctor towards the end of the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I thought that's very interesting. I feel like this happened with his character more than anyone else. And so you kind of discover his character as the movie goes along, I felt like that was also a good way to portray a child. I feel like there's this parallel between he's a child, he's only growing. Like, it kind of feels like he's only understanding these things himself. And so we're only understanding these things about him as the story progresses.
And then a character that, in my opinion, you were saying like the wife is kind of outshined by the dad in a lot of the movie. Here we have a character that kind of outshines a lot of the rest of the cast, according to me. Sunja, the grandmother, played by Yuh-Jung. So she is the grandmother. She got a Best Supporting Actress nomination for this role.
I think she should get that.
Yeah. And actually, Yuh-Jung, while being unknown in the US and the Western movies in general, is a big star in South Korea. Yes.
Okay.
Even the director, right, when he told his parents that he got her in the movie, to them that's what made it real, right? Like, oh my God, you get this big star,
really?
Right?
Wow, that's impressive. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think maybe it shows, her experience on the screen.
Yeah, so
she was wonderful.
Speaking of, right, I was saying that she's unknown in the US and she's really known in South Korea. She understood that, right? And so she felt that she needed to show her acting skill to the new audience. She needed to try really hard.
Right.
And she did, in my opinion.
Yeah, she did, and I think she succeeded. Her character was just so deep, like had so many levels. Again, a character that doesn't speak much and that in the beginning seems so simple. She's a grandmother, not very skilled at being a grandmother. She can't help around the house. She doesn't cook or clean.
She can't bake cookies.
Yeah. The kids even tell her that. But then you kind of understand from the dialogue, without it being told directly, that her life wasn't easy. She lost her husband. You don't know how long she's been alone, for how many years, and she struggled with that. And to think of her character in that way, and then see her as this like jolly old woman, who just wants to hang around with her grandkids and have fun, it gives her character so much depth. And I feel like that doubles down after she has the
a stroke.
accident.
Yeah,
exactly. Then she can't do much anymore, and that's when she feels like she wants to.
Yeah, that's very interesting, right? You were saying like she gets here, she can't cook, she doesn't clean. She spends most of her time just watching TV and ignoring, like at some point even ignoring the son that she's supposed to look over, the grandson, right? But once she has the stroke and now she can't physically do any of those things that she wasn't doing anyway before, now she's trying to do them.
Right. I think part of it was because of that one scene where the grandson sits by her bedside and tells her like, oh, it's all because of you. That then maybe she feels like, oh, this is how my family feels about me, that I shouldn't have come here. So maybe that's why she wanted to help. But also I you understand, at least in theory, because I've never been in a situation in which I was helpless, but I think you understand that you want to prove that you can still do things, that you don't need to be taken care of.
To other people and to yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Really. And I think that makes her character so much more tragic, right? I was already feeling bad for her with the way her grandson was treating her. But after the stroke, right, it was really hard to watch all of that going. But I think she played it wonderfully again.
She did.
I wouldn't be surprised if she won that award. Actually, I'm kind of in her camp. I haven't seen all the other nominees, but still, I hope she wins it. So we also have Noelle Kate Cho as Annie, the daughter, but I actually want to talk about someone else instead of her. She's there in the movie, but not that present, right?
Right.
I want to talk about a character that I thought was interesting. Will Patton, who plays Paul, the farm help.
Right.
He is... how do I even begin to describe a character like this, right? It's an interesting character, and we only get a snippet of his personality and his backstory, but it kind of tells a lot, right? When he says he went to war and he's acting very erratic manner, very weirdly, you kind of feel like he got traumatized by the war, maybe.
Right. Like he's got a few loose screws because of that, or after he was in the war.
And I also get the feeling because once he realized that, he was helping a Korean family, and he was like, oh, I knew we would be friends, and he keeps Korean money in his wallet at all times. I feel like there's probably some guilt related to what he did in the war, and that's why he wanted to help them, and why he wanted to be friends with them.
What I thought was interesting was the relationship that he develops with the family, that beyond the whole war situation, that he's not really all there, and they can tell.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the family was saying, like, oh, when we were in the city, people didn't trust us. Like, the father does mention that at some point, that in the cities, people don't trust the Koreans. But there, like, this guy trusts them, gets close to them and he wants to be friends with them. And they in return trust this guy, Paul, who wouldn't maybe normally be trusted by anyone,
But they're both outcasts, right?
Exactly. And I think it's beautiful how, like, they just decide to help each other. So they both find someone to trust in the end, right?
And, I mean, he hires him, right? It's not as if
exactly.
It's for free, but still...
The bond is there.
Exactly, and he had a choice to not hire him, right? So at the beginning I said this is a 2020 movie, and then I gave a 2021 date for the release, right? The film had its world premiere at the Sundance Film Festival in January 2020. And at Sundance, it won both the US Dramatic Grand Jury Prize and the US Dramatic Audience Prize.
In January 2020?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
At the festival, it was the favorite of the jury and the audience. In order to make the deadline for Sundance, the editor of the movie had to edit as production was taking place. So yeah, that was the premiere of the movie in 2020, but then it got released to the public in 2021.
Okay, so in 2020 you could have only seen it there at that festival.
Sundance, yeah.
Okay, I see.
But Sundance was not the only place where the movie got recognized. It got recognized at the Golden Globes and at the Academy Awards, the upcoming Academy Awards, where it got 6 nominations.
Ooh, okay, let's hear them.
So, Best Picture, of course, that's why we watched it. Best Director, as I said earlier, for Lee Isaac-chung. Best Actor, Steven Yeun. Best Supporting Actress, Yuh-Jung. Best Original Screenplay, Lee Isaac-chung. And Best Original Score, Emile Mosseri. So, as we do with these movies that we don't have the results yet, I usually ask you, what do you think it's going to win?
Oof, what do I think?
Or rather, what you want. Right.
I think both actor and supporting actress, they're definitely strong contestants. I think they're really well deserved there. And screenplay.
Yeah. I'm thinking it might not get the director, but screenplay is probably a safer bet.
Yeah.
And then supporting actress, I'd really like it.
I would like it too.
Well, we shall see when we get the results on April 26th. For now, Anna, do you have any final thoughts about the movie? Something we haven't talked about that you want to touch on?
No, I think we pretty much went about everything.
Yes, I think so too. And so I would definitely recommend this movie if you haven't seen it and we haven't spoiled you too much. Go watch it. It's a really nice experience. Would you?
Yeah, of course. I would recommend it too. I think it is great.
But how great is it? It's time for us to rank this movie, Anna. Every year we rank the Best Picture nominated movie from that year of the Academy Award. Right now we're ranking the 93rd Academy Awards, movies from 2020 and 2021, 2019. Let's not get into the details here. So as of now, our ranking is at number 2, Mank, and at number 1, The Trial of the Chicago 7. Where do you want to put Minari?
I have to tell you, I think these are all great movies in their own right. Of course, different types of movies.
I think that makes it, I was going to say, very difficult. Yeah. It's a very different movie from the other two. Yeah. And the other two, between the two of them, are also very different. So.
Right. That being said, for I don't know what reason, but just because that's how it felt. When I first look at this ranking, I think I would put Minari at number 2.
That is also where I was going, what I was going to say. And just like you, because it's so hard to compare them, right? I just can't tell you in like logical wording, this is why Minari...
I mean, there's no reason why Mank would be less good than Minari. It's just the feeling
how I feel, right? This
exactly.
is all personal ranking, and so sometimes we bring arguments about why we like something else more than something, and sometimes it's just a feeling, right? And so the feeling that I get is that the Trial of the Chicago 7 would stay at number 1 and Minari would go above Mank. So I guess we agree on that?
Yes.
The new ranking is at number 3, Mank. At number 2, Minari. At number 1, The Trial of the Chicago 7. And the rest of the numbers will come as we watch more movies. But what about you? Yes, you at home watching this video. Tell us in the comment section below, what did you think of Minari? And also, go rate the movie on our website. The link is going to be in the description box below. And for those of you who don't know, we've watched this movie as part of our bucket list goal to watch every movie that was nominated at the Academy Award for Best Picture from 1927 to 2028. That is a lot of movie, Anna, and as of now, we've watched 110 movies.
Can you believe that some movies that are on this list of movies that we're going to watch aren't even out yet?
Yeah, that's crazy, huh? Yeah. If you want to do this goal with us, for some reason you're as crazy as us, the next movie we're going to be watching and reviewing is Sound of Metal. So go watch that and be ready for our review of the film. Do not miss the review though. Be sure to subscribe to this channel if you're not subscribed already. Like this video if you did. Comment in the comment section below, and don't forget, if you yourself, just like the father of this family, have a dream or goal that you want to realize, take the water away from them and then take that first step.